Emilwood owns an area of land around what is now Central Station, but was known as Temperance Town. He would not allow any pubs to be built on the land. Ironically, it is believed he died of alcohol poisoning. We will pass under the railway bridge, which is several bridges built alongside one another. You will notice that one bridge looks darker than the rest. It is the original bridge and was made from limestone. It has stalactites hanging from it. Brain's Brewery stands on the bank of the Taff. S.A. Brain and Company was a regional brewery founded in 1882 in Cardiff by Samuel Arthur Brain. Brains own around 250 pubs in South and Mid Wales and the West Country, having taken over Crown Buckley in 1997 and Hancock's in 1999. The brewery moved to the current site in 2000, and the former site is now the Old Brewery, a modern bar and restaurant complex in the city centre. The River Taff rises as two rivers in the Brecon Beacons, Taff Flechan, Little Taff, and Taff Fawr, Big Taff. These join to form the River Taff north of Merthyr. Until the demise of the coal industry, the River Taff used to run inky black due to coal dust and industrial pollution. The river is now a shining example of how environmental change and improvement can work. Migratory fish such as salmon, sea trout and eels can now be found in the river, and fishing is a popular pastime. Other wildlife that might be encountered on the river: swans, grebe, crested grebe, coots, cormorants, herons and kingfishers. You might also spot foxes and mink along the way. Upriver beyond the Butte Park water bus stop, it becomes extremely shallow. No commercial vessels can go beyond that point. In the 1840s, the South Wales Railway was looking for a site for a railway station. But the favoured site, now the Central Station, was prone to flooding. The River Taff used to run around the castle and down Westgate Street, where the main entrance to the Principality Stadium is now. So Isambard Kingdom Brunel came up with a plan to divert the River Taff to the west and allow the creation of a safer site. This was duly done, and the new station opened in 1850. As you pass the stadium, it is possible to see that the banks of the Taff are man-made at the point where the course of the river was altered. The River Taff now empties into Cardiff Bay, near the mouth of the River Ely. Or Taffy is a popular nickname for the Welsh worldwide. We will pass Turner Court on the right. This is built on the site of a pub called the Inn on the River, known fondly by locals as the pub on the mud. Before it became a pub, it was the family home of the Turners, who built Cardiff's City Hall. Road Bridge, we are close to the former site of a factory called Curran's, who employed a very young Shirley Bassey. Unfortunately, she encouraged the production line to sing to the point that production fell, and after a very short time, she was asked to leave. She started to sing in a pub in Tiger Bay called the Ship and Pilot. From there, the rest is history. Between Clarence Road Bridge and Channel View, we will notice the black boom in the river. This is placed deliberately to trap debris prior to its entering the bay. The Harbour Authority, using a specialised vessel, clear the boom. Any rubbish that can be recycled is retrieved. The driftwood is sent away and chipped to be used in the Harbour Authority building to fire the boiler. Also see Channel View to the right. This is the home to Cardiff Bay Water Activity Centre. The centre hosts the annual Heads of the Taff rowing competition. Rowing is amongst the many thriving activities, and all ages and abilities are encouraged. There is a club run specifically for young rowers to develop their skills prior to moving to other rowing clubs. Our company is proud to be associated with Channel View and to sponsor these young people. As we approach Cardiff Bay, we will be passing what used to be Bowles Sand Wharf, which now has modern flats built on it. Two yacht clubs in the bay, Cardiff Yacht Club and Cardiff Bay Yacht Club. Along with Penarth Marina and Cardiff Marine, these provide mooring for approximately 2,000 boats. Alongside commercial boats, pleasure sailing is a popular pastime on the bay. Helped fund the building of Cardiff to become the capital city, and the docks were owned by the 3rd Marquis of Bute, who was at one time the richest man in the world. In its heyday, Cardiff Docks was one of the largest in the world and the main exporter of British iron and South Wales coal. Transport network was put in place to take the coal from the valleys to the port by canal and rail. The railway being built to follow a similar route to the canal. naval docks opened in Penarth in 1865 and Barry in 1889, which resulted in further development in Cardiff, with the Roath Dock opening in 1887 and the Queen Alexandra Dock in 1907, by which time Cardiff was exporting 9 million tonnes of coal and became second only to Barry as the biggest coal exporters of the world. Until the early 1920s, the docks thrived, but by the 1930s they had begun to decline. The demand for Welsh coal fell, and following the Great Depression and the general strike, exports had dropped to 5 million tonnes. Coal export finally stopped in 1964. Cardiff still has 3 operational docks, with steel sheds, timber sheds and cold storage facilities. Cardiff Bay Development Corporation was formed in 1987 to develop the land left derelict by the decline of the docks. The controversial barrage was completed in 1999 to create a 2 square kilometre freshwater lake and also provide a vital flood defence for the city. There are oxygenation systems in place to maintain and improve water quality, which is tested daily. The Harbour Authority also have oxygenation barges, which can be taken anywhere in the bay they might be needed. It took until 2008, however, for the pathway to be fully completed across the barrage, creating a public thoroughfare between the inner harbour and Penarth Marina. The walk takes around half an hour each way and takes in spectacular views of the bay and the Bristol Channel, along with a close-up view of the workings of the barrage locks and fish pass. The barrage incorporates a fish pass to allow salmon to reach breeding grounds in the River Taff and has 3 locks for vessels entering and leaving Cardiff Bay. The wetlands near St David's Hotel were created as a condition of permission to build the barrage. Local school children, under the guidance of park rangers, study the ecosystem and pond life. It provides the ideal habitat for many freshwater species. St David's Hotel was the first 5-star hotel in Wales. The white building you see as we cross the bay is the Norwegian Church, a Lutheran church consecrated in 1868. Its original position was approximately half a mile away between the east and west dock, and it was built when many Scandinavian and Norwegian ships came to Cardiff carrying pit props for the South Wales coalfields. In fact, the miners called the pit props Norways. The church provided a centre for worship and comradeship for Scandinavian sailors and the Norwegian community for over 100 years. As the docks declined, the church became run down, and in 1987 it was dismantled and put into storage. Alongside the redevelopment of the area, it was reconstructed in 1992 and is now a popular arts centre with function facilities and a delightful coffee shop. Roald Dahl was baptised in the church and his family worshipped there. He is still still remembered today in the Dahl Gallery, and of course his books are sold worldwide and have delighted children of all ages. Close by the church is the Roast Basin Dock, from where Captain Scott sailed on the ill-fated Terra Nova expedition of Antarctica in 1910. The White Scott Memorial is sited between the Norwegian Church and the Roast Basin Lock. The area approaching the pontoons where we will tie up used to be affectionately known locally as the Drake. But the inner harbour is now a vibrant area of cafes, bars and restaurants. Events such as the Extreme Sailing Series and powerboat racing take place here every year. There are many interesting buildings to look out for. The distinctive red brick building is the Pierhead, Grade 1 listed and formerly the headquarters of the Bute Dock Company, where the ship owners paid their dues. Built in 1897, it now houses a Welsh History Museum and exhibition, which is well worth a visit. To the right is the Senedd, home of the National Assembly for Wales. Built at a cost of 69 million, it was opened by the Queen on March 1st, 2006. It houses a debating chamber and 3 committee rooms for the National Assembly for Wales. Floors 1 and 2 are open to the public. The last vessel into what is now Roald Dahl Place was the last working steam tug in the Bristol Channel, called the Sea Alarm. It remained there as an exhibit in the Maritime Museum, which stood on the site of Mermaid Quay, until it was scrapped when Cardiff Bay was developed. In the nearby coal exchange, the first £1 million cheque in the world was written to supply coal to the French Navy. Welsh steam coal was in great demand because it burnt 1 degree hotter than any other coal, making ships travel faster.
Dominic.